It must be many times and on many occasions in our life that we have pondered over this question. And we have thought about this question. Why are we here? What is the purpose of life? What is it all for? What is the reason for it? And in some way or another way, we find many different religions, many different philosophies have tried to provide answers to these fundamental questions. We live in a society, the Western society, that in reality is first and foremost and essentially an atheistic, or if not atheistic, certainly secularist society. That it advocates and propagates the ideology of materialism. And this materialistic ideology is backed by scientific theories, and in particular the theory of evolution. The theory of evolution tells us that we have our origin in and from a common ancestor with the apes. And this primate itself has evolved from other creatures which in the far, far distant past, everything had evolved from this organic soup. And this is what they use to back their materialistic philosophy. The man, according to them, that the human being, according to this ideology, is in fact no more than an animal. An advanced animal, but nonetheless an animal. And everything else is explained in the context of that. Similarly, according to them, the universe itself is a product of some random events. I think if the sisters would like to sit down, I noticed there's a place up there on top, so maybe you could find your way up there. It might be more comfortable. That it is a product of random events. So my brothers and my sisters, what is being taught to us at the moment in reality is this idea that in reality there is no God, there is no need for a God, there is no day of judgment, there is no hellfire, there is no paradise, that we in fact in reality are mere, our whole existence is a coincidence. And in reality the life has no real purpose and no real meaning, except the purpose and the meaning that you happen to want to give it. That you eat, you drink, you sleep, you seek shelter, you live, you die. That's it. So this is one philosophy, one ideology. And atheism, perhaps for the first time in human history, atheism, for perhaps the first time in human history, has actually become what we could describe as a world belief system. Because in the past we found that to some degree or another degree, people have always believed in the existence of a creator or a creating being. and that pure atheism was something very rare. And this is what we need to talk about today. What we have to develop upon today and discuss today and bring up today is basically two concepts. The atheistic ideology, and the other idea is the concept or the understanding that there is a God, there is a creator, that the universe, that life does have a special purpose. Yet within the belief systems that believe in the existence of God, there is also a great difference. And we hope that we'll be able to examine some of these differences and draw some conclusions from all of this. So first of all, what I would like to examine is the arguments against and the arguments for the belief in the Creator. Why? Because this is going to be fundamental to explaining the reason and the purpose of our existence. Strangely enough, although the atheist claims to take the ground of rationality, of science, of a position where there is a lack of prejudice, whereas the believer is supposed to have prejudice. We find, in fact, that quite often the arguments of the atheists are emotional arguments. The reasons for saying that there is not a God are emotional reasons, not rational reasons. You often find they bring the argument, like for example, well, if there is a God, why there is so much suffering in the world? This is one of their arguments. If there is a God, how come you have AIDS and natural disasters and these diseases? And how come some people are crippled and some people are born blind? It doesn't seem to be such a perfect world to me. Rather, it seems to be a product of chaos and confusion. This is what they claim. However, we will see the futility of these claims, and we will examine why these claims are in fact emotional arguments, not rational ones. And what we intend to do first and foremost is prove to you that there must be a God. There must be a creator. In fact, that the only possible rational position that can be taken by a human being is that this universe and this world must have a creator. And this creator must be one God. There cannot be more than one such creator. And we know this basically through two different ways. One way is the instinctive way, and the second is the means that we use through reason or intelligence, or what we could call aql in Arabic. And let us examine the arguments based upon the intelligence. And it's a very simple argument. The argument is propounded in the Quran. And it goes like this. Was the universe and everything in it, did it come from nothing? Did it come from nothing? This is the first question the Quran asks. Did it come from nothing? Now let's examine it. Do we ever experience something coming from nothing? In fact, in reality, in the totality of human experience, it will be very hard to find anyone being able to support